Greetings citizens of the world. An intriguing Foreign Intelligence Service (SVR) report circulating in the Kremlin today states that the unprecedented grouping, converging of U.S. Marshal Service Eastern District of Pennsylvania, USMSEDP, agents in Philadelphia and Washington, D.C. this past week was due to President Donald Trump's Department of Justice, DOJ, notifying the Federal Bureau of Prisons, BOP, to prepare for at least 23 high-security political defendants being placed in the Federal Detention Center, FDC, located in Philadelphia, one of whom the SVR believes will be Hillary Clinton. Note, some words and/or phrases appearing in quotes in this report are English-language approximations of Russian words, phrases having no exact counterpart. According to this report, while the U.S. mainstream propaganda media this past week was being consumed by the Russia hysteria meme against President Trump that has led to a $150 million kill contract being put on his life, and who had just fired his leftist-leaning Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, Director James Comey, SVR intelligence analysts were reporting that a team of FBI agents and U.S. Department of Justice prosecutors had just returned from Bangladesh where they had secured under oath testimony from Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina confirming Hillary Clinton's criminality. Prime Minister Hasina testified to the FBI and the U.S. Justice Department. This report explains that in 2011 then-Secretary of State Hillary Clinton called her office demanding that Muhammad Yunus be restored to his role as chairman of the Bangladesh's most famous microcredit bank, Grameen Bank, but who had been paid between $100,000 and $250,000 to the Clinton Global Initiative, with Yunus himself personally giving between $25,000 and $50,000 to the Clinton Foundation website. Grameen Bank, this report details, was created by Muhammad Yunus and purported to be a pioneer in the concepts of microcredit and microfinance to help poor peoples, but whose reasons and ability to pay Hillary Clinton nearly $500,000 led the SVR, among others, to question its true motives, and whose charges of embezzlement and loan sharking against have yet to be fully investigated. As part of the Bangladesh government, this report continues. Prime Minister Hasina further told the FBI and U.S. Justice Department that under her nation's banking laws, no one could be the director of Grameen Bank past the age of 60, and that by his management of this bank, until she dismissed him upon taking power, Yunus, at age 70, in effect, had stolen 10 years of salary and benefits. Most shocking about this newly discovered crime by Hillary Clinton, this report notes, is that the FBI had known about it. But after Director Comey had ordered the investigation to cease, and barely a fortnight prior to President Trump taking office, someone at the FBI mysteriously posted on its website over 300 emails that Clinton had sent to an unnamed colleague, not in the government, suspected to be her advisor Sid Blumenthal, that had fallen into the hands of foreign powers, including Bangladesh, though funneled through China. Who had mysteriously posted these over 300 Hillary Clinton emails to the FBI website prior to their being destroyed by Director Comey, and before President Trump took office. This report details, were FBI agents loyal to U.S. Attorney for the District of Maryland Rod Rosenstein, whom the SVR says was enraged at the Clintons for their diabolical decade-long scheme with the controversial Indian drug manufacturer called Ranbaxy to sell watered-down AIDS drugs to Africa, and who then U.S. Attorney Rosenstein prosecuted and won an astounding $500 million judgment against with his stating, "This is the largest false claims case ever prosecuted in the District of Maryland, and the nation's largest financial penalty paid by a generic pharmaceutical company." With President Trump's current U.S. Attorney General Jeff Sessions during his Senate confirmation hearing testifying that he would recuse himself from any case involving Hillary Clinton, this report continues, Trump then determined that U.S. Attorney Rosenstein, who had more knowledge of the Clintons and their Clinton Foundation's crimes than anyone else, would be his pick for Deputy Attorney General, and who barely 2 weeks from being installed in office by a nearly overwhelming U.S. Senate vote of 94-6, provided Trump with a scathing memo justifying the firing of Director Comey that he concluded by stating, "The way the director handled the conclusion of the email investigation was wrong. As a result, The FBI is unlikely to regain public and congressional trust until it has a director who understands the gravity of the mistakes and pledges never to repeat them. Having refused to admit his errors, the director cannot be expected to implement the necessary corrective actions. Interesting to note about now U.S. Deputy Attorney Rosenstein too, this report says, is that last week President Trump related to Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov during their White House Oval Office meeting that he was the person whose legal advice he had taken when installing his tape recording system in order to ensnare his deep state enemies, and that yesterday Trump first alerted his enemies to by warning Director Comey in a tweet, "James Comey better hope that there are no tapes of our conversations before he starts leaking to the press." Note: under long-standing protocols between Russia and the United States, all recording devices in rooms where officials meet must have their recording systems declared, either if or not working. By the massive increase of U.S. Marshal Service activity in both Philadelphia and Washington, D.C. this past week, this report concludes, FVR intelligence analysts speculate that the reason Philadelphia was chosen to hold these high-security political defendants is due that city having just hosted the 2016 Democratic National Convention, and whose police forces are integrated